Have you ever looked at someone speaking English so fluently and thought, I wish I could speak like that? Maybe you've been learning for years, watching lessons, memorizing phrases. Yet when it's time to speak, your mind just goes blank. You're not alone. And the truth is, the difference between people who wish to speak English and those who actually do is not talent. It's persistence. It's the courage to push yourself, even when it's uncomfortable. And that's exactly what we're going to talk about today. Welcome back to British Echo English, the podcast where we learn real, natural British English while discovering how to grow as confident English speakers. I'm your host, and today's episode is called Push Yourself to Success for Learning English. Now, let's be honest, learning English isn't easy. There are days when everything feels exciting. You learn new words, understand a movie without subtitles, or finally get what someone said in a British accent. But then there are days when you can't even form a simple sentence and you start thinking, maybe I'm just not good at languages. Here's the truth. That thought is what holds most learners back. Not the grammar, not the pronunciation, not the vocabulary, but that inner voice that says, you can't. Think about this. When a child learns to walk, they fall hundreds of times before taking that first successful step. Yet they never say, I'm done, I'll crawl forever. They keep pushing. And that's the kind of mindset you need for English. Learning English is not just about words. It's about mindset. Every time you choose to speak, even when you're afraid of making mistakes, you're pushing yourself forward. Every time you listen to a podcast instead of wasting time scrolling social media, you're building your future self. And that's the secret. Progress hides in persistence. Many learners want fast results. They say, I want to speak fluently in 3 months. But fluency is not a miracle. It's a journey. The real magic happens when you show up every single day, even when it feels boring, even when no one is clapping for you. I've seen students who started with broken sentences, shy, hesitant, but they kept going. Day after day, they shadowed podcasts, repeated lines, joined English conversations, listened carefully to pronunciation, and improved bit by bit. And then one day, everything just clicked. They realized, I can speak English. So let me ask you something. Are you pushing yourself enough? Or are you giving up the moment things get difficult? Because success in English, like in life, demands pressure. You grow through pressure. Diamonds are created under pressure, and so is fluency. Now let's talk about how you can actually push yourself in a smart and realistic way. Step 1. Stop waiting for motivation. Motivation is a feeling, and feelings are temporary. One day you're inspired, the next day you're tired. But success depends on discipline, not mood. Make English a habit, not a hobby. Even 15 minutes of focused listening every day is better than 2 hours once a week. Step 2. Stop fearing mistakes. Every native speaker makes mistakes. Yes, even British people do. The difference is, they don't stop speaking because of it. You shouldn't either. Your mistakes are your teachers. Every error you correct is a step closer to fluency. Step 3. Create real challenges. Don't just watch English lessons, use them. Join online conversations, record yourself, shadow podcasts, repeat after native speakers. Push yourself into real speaking moments, even if it's just talking to yourself in the mirror. When you hear your own voice in English, you start to believe, yes, I can do this. Step 4. Reward yourself for progress. Fluency doesn't arrive overnight. Celebrate the small wins. The first time you understood a native speaker without subtitles, or when you responded confidently in English. These little victories will keep you motivated to go further. Let me share a short story. A listener once told me she had been studying English for 3 years, but still couldn't speak. She said she'd memorized thousands of words, watched hundreds of videos, yet she froze every time she had to speak to someone. I asked her one question. How often do you actually speak English? She paused and said, almost never. That's the key. You can't learn to swim by reading about water. You have to get wet. And you can't learn to speak English by only watching others. You have to speak, even when it's uncomfortable. So push yourself out of your comfort zone. Speak to a stranger, comment in English, start a short podcast, or even record yourself reading an English article aloud. These small actions build big confidence. Now, let's talk about mindset again, because this is what keeps learners going when results are slow. If you expect quick success, you'll get frustrated. But if you treat every day of learning as an investment, you'll win. English is not a race. It's a relationship. You have to spend time with it, talk to it, listen to it, live with it. Fluency is not about knowing every word. It's about communicating your ideas clearly. You don't need to sound perfect. You need to sound confident. And confidence comes from pushing yourself through discomfort. Remember, when you push yourself, something magical happens. Your brain adapts. The more you listen, the more your ear recognizes English rhythm and sound patterns. The more you speak, the smoother your tongue becomes with English pronunciation. Slowly, English stops being a foreign language. It becomes a part of who you are. But none of this happens if you don't push yourself. So next time you doubt yourself, remember this. Even if it takes 1 year or 5 years, every bit of effort you make is building your fluency. You're not behind. You're on your own timeline. Keep listening. Keep repeating. Keep speaking. Keep pushing. And most importantly, believe in your journey. Because the moment you decide, I will speak English no matter what, your brain starts finding ways to make it happen. That's the power of determination. Push yourself when you don't feel like studying. Push yourself when you forget words. Push yourself when you think others are better than you. Every time you push, you rise. You'll look back one day and smile, because you'll realize the hardest days built your strongest English. Let me finish today's episode with a simple truth. Fluency doesn't start when you're ready. It starts when you begin, even if you're scared. So today, take one step. Listen to this episode again, shadow my voice, speak along with me, and feel your confidence grow. Your success in English is waiting on the other side of your comfort zone. Go on, push yourself to success. Thank you for listening to British Echo English. If you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to follow the podcast and share it with your friends who are also learning English. Remember, you have everything it takes to become fluent. You just have to push yourself.